Welcome to Driven by Data, inside the Fast Lane podcast, where we explore the high-octane intersection of speed, precision, and innovation. I'm Dragos Stoica, country manager at Brillio, Romania, and I'm your host today. I'll start with a disclosure. I'm a huge fan of F1 since I was 6, so this episode is a personal highlight. Today we are going beyond the grandstands and pit walls to uncover what really powers F1. Not just horsepower, but human insights, relentless innovation, and intelligent data. Behind every corner taken at 300 km per hour, there is a strategy. Behind every decision on the track, a cascade of data. And behind every driver, a network of engineers, analytics, and partners working in real time to gain milliseconds that make all the difference. Today we are thrilled to be joined by someone who knows what it means to live at the edge of speed and strategy. He's cool under pressure, bold in overtakes, and always thinking 3 corners ahead. Please welcome Alex Albon, F1 driver at Atlassian Williams Racing.
Thank you very much.
So Alex has been with the team since 2022, and over the past few seasons you have been a driving force, literally and figuratively, behind some of the team's strongest performances. From points finishes in 2023 and 2024, now to impressive form in 2025, highlighted by P5 in Australia, P7 in China, P9 in Monaco, in both Monaco and Japan, and recently P6 in Belgium, which was impressive. Alex, you constantly deliver strong results on some of the Formula One's most demanding circuits. With such an impressive journey, you as a driver, how much do you rely on data to shape your performance?
It's an essential part of our work. I would say that we have been surrounded by data since I was 12 years old, looking at data on a computer screen, using it as a method to go and drive faster and be a better driver. So an example would be before every session that we go out, we will look at historical data, looking at trends and corners where we previously struggled at, areas for myself as well. There are some corners as a driver I need to improve at. And then we do our sessions, and post sessions we're using data to, personally speaking, make sure that when we go into qualifying we know exactly what we need to do at every single corner. That's just one part of it, but realistically, with the data on the aerodynamics of the car, the suspension of the car, it goes a long way, and it's just part of the job.
Fair. And I have seen you all the time looking at the screen after every training, understanding where you should improve a little bit better and to bring value on the track.
Exactly that. We find that we use the data as a communication tool in many ways, because the engineers and myself, we are having this constant discussion, and it's hard for engineers to understand what the driver actually wants in the car, and the data brings us all together, and I can show them, you see here and here and here, this is what I don't like in the car, we need to improve this area, and we can all get together and have a discussion
as a team.
And actually the best teams in the world, they're the ones that can communicate and use the data in the most productive way possible.
I understand. Very interesting. Coming on this on top, and you have, like you mentioned before, as a team, working as a team, how it feels knowing that it's an entire group of engineers across various teams working behind the scenes while you are on track.
Yeah. It's firstly, it's a huge team. We, at least at Williams, we're over 1,000 people now. It's amazing. Firstly, the culture in a team, that we're all striving to be the best we can be. I have a huge team behind me that I know are trying their best and are doing everything they can to find the last little bit of performance. What's interesting for me especially is just how diverse we are. We can go from, let's call it aero mapping, where we study the data, we look at plots of real data that the car is giving in terms of the airflow around the car. And that goes into a CFD, goes into the wind tunnel and the correlation work. Then we have so many different departments. We have the vehicle dynamics department, which is looking at suspension. And as a driver, the one thing which I had to learn becoming in such a huge organization is, with all this data, how do I actually use it? How can I speak to the right people and get the most out of all of us? That was something which still now I'm still learning, but it's amazing. In the beginning, you're kind of a little bit like a little bit lost, and now we're this kind of reliant machine where we're all working together.
And I do feel it's quite a huge pressure on you. Everybody relies on you.
It is, because also when I first joined Formula One, I was 23,
right?
And a lot of the people within the job are a lot older. You know, you engineers in general in Formula One, they can be between 35, 45, and so on. And so I didn't even have the confidence myself as a person, as an individual. We were doing team talks in front of 1,000 people and on stage. And I remember back then how daunting it was, because I didn't even have life experience. I didn't even know how to communicate properly to a large.
And they were waiting from you.
Exactly that. You just see these eyeballs looking at you. But now I've got comfortable with the team and who I am, and now it's the synergy between all of us is much better.
And I think every time, and I will continue to repeat from year to year, this is visible on the results.
Yes, yep, sure.
What is different about being part of a challenger team like Atlassian Williams Racing?
Yes, I felt like it's fair to say in the beginning it felt more like we were taking part than performing. Now the culture of the team is always forwards. I feel like there's a huge momentum that we have as a team. There's an inner confidence and a belief that we're going to achieve great things. I don't think there's a team on the grid now that have consistently, year on year, just made steps each time. And it's almost like the culture is feeding the culture, the performance is coming and everything's coming together.
And we're pretty sure very soon we'll see even greater results.
Exactly that. When I first joined Williams, I felt like it was a team that had a little bit of maybe stuck in their old ways of thinking.
The heritage, it was over there.
Yes, exactly.
Being such an iconic team.
It was. Its own previous success was a detriment to itself, because the times moved so quickly in such a fast pace in Formula One. The technology of what we're doing is moving at such a fast pace. You can get left behind if you don't adapt and improvise. And so when James Bowles joined the team, it felt like it kind of reignited some open thinking, and actually the egos dropped and the ears opened, and it felt like we really made a step forward.
And the communication is getting improved.
Well, yes, exactly, and it's a big part of why even Williams wanted to work with a partner like Brillio, is because they are in many ways helping us be the best we can be.
True. And we are that type of partners that we are looking for to be part of this team and to grow together as a team.
Yes.
Good. What's like to be supported, exactly like as you mentioned, by a tech partner like Brillio?
I'd say that on the biggest thing on our side is so we can stay focused on track, so we can focus on the driving side. One of the big challenges in being the driver in the team is that it's such a data-driven sport, and to pick and choose and to know what is relevant to you is actually kind of interesting, because you have such a huge stream of engineers and generally people working for two cars. It's nice to know that a company like Brillio is doing some of the behind the scenes work. It allows us to actually focus on our driving, allows the engineers to do their work as well in terms of focusing on the setup rather than all the external data parameters that are out there. And I think in terms of the focus and the consistency of the focus, it improves that as well.
Fantastic. Now, always you are driving fast, and when you are driving at 300 kilometers per hour, does data still matter in that moment?
Definitely so, yes. Actually, even the number that you're saying is a data point for us.
Exactly.
We do speed tests at various speed calculations, 200 kilometers an hour, 250, 300, and we're scanning the car, always checking correlation and things like that. So it's very relevant. We have, in terms of reliability even or performance, it all goes hand in hand, and I think as a team
We're growing together.
we are definitely growing together, that's for sure.
Fantastic. We are talking about data, and we are making sure that things are getting correlated and communicated well inside the team. But when it comes to resilience, it's a trait both the elite athletes and business leaders need.
Yes.
You have had your shares of highs and lows, which is okay. You are learning from this.
Yes.
How do you stay mentally resilient, and what can professionals in the corporate world learn from your journey?
Yeah. Well, firstly, I would say resilience is coming from the learnings from our mistakes, but in many ways, these setbacks and these opportunities allow us to grow more. As a team, we have a very open policy of accountability and owning up to mistakes, and I feel like that fosters a very healthy culture within the team. So as long as you can learn them, you can set data points to learn from your mistakes as well. Most of our growth is actually happening in them areas. I feel like the amount of times we've had setbacks, which has only made us stronger in the future.
It's so impressive how you are positioning yourself and how you are getting so much positive out of this, because it's not easy to fail. You don't have too many opportunities or too many chances on the track, and it's extremely important being so mentally healthy.
It's interesting because it's a game. You're one team out of 10, and you're competing against each other, and it's interesting to see these setbacks. For example, this year we've had a couple of engine setbacks.
Yeah.
It was a temperature issue that we had on our car, but to see how the team came around to fix this problem in such a short amount of time, and being adaptable like that, it shows real growth in the team and when we go through the moments.
And very fast, because we don't have too many weeks between between the races.
I think we had a solution within 2 weeks, and in the normal corporate world, that's on fixing car problems like that, they can take years.
Definitely. Now, when it comes to technology, F1 is at the cutting edge of technology. But if you could invent or wish for one piece of tech that doesn't exist today to help you as a driver, what would it be?
I would say maybe a hyper-intelligent strategy would be something that I would definitely include in our strategy team. We actually have a group of strategists in Williams, maybe a team of 20 people in total, and they are looking at the weather, looking at the tires, looking at obviously the other teams, and tracking their tire wear or whatever it may be, their pace clearly. There's still so much to learn, and there's almost never enough people, and I think that's where realistically AI can go a long way and can make these decisions live and be as reactive as we can. You know, we have moments in the race, whether it's rain or the tires losing grip during the race, where the strategist has to be adaptable and make decisions within a second. You know, we can be approaching the pit lane on track and
Box or not?
box or not.
Exactly.
And that's where a software can really come to life and make us one step ahead of every other team.
We'll have to say challenge accepted.
Yeah, I've heard this many years in my work. Yeah.
at the end. So we have to understand how we address it long term.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. But no, it's really exciting to see what we can do.
What do you think the future of motorsport looks like with all the tech advancements happening today?
Well, firstly, you can see it already now. If I take the simulation world that we are getting into, so young drivers now are spending more and more time in simulators. It's becoming more accessible, and the level and the correlation that these young kids are getting at home are getting closer and closer to what we feel on track. You're getting young kids who have never driven any kind of single-seater car arrive for the first time, and within a couple of days are just as good as the ones who have been doing it for years. So you can already see how that's very
Impressive. So fast is the rampart.
Even my brother has never driven a go-kart in his life, and he spent during shutdown, during COVID, he spent a lot of time on my simulator at home, and the speed at which he picked it up was scary, and he is so good on the simulator now. He's quicker than me.
So you have a competition, right?
They have an internal competition between us both, yeah, it's very impressive.
Interesting. And what I do feel is that once we are going and we are growing on this part of technology, I think it will become even smoother, the transition.
Yes, I agree. I think even there's a project that we're working on at Williams with how quickly can we have access to the simulator to keep correlating and getting things as close as we can. There's our time models are huge calculations. They are an algorithm of algorithms, and we end up spending so much time correlating these things. Or if we can get to a point where, for example, again, if we can get an automated hyper intelligent tire model, right, that can really give us the feedback. We call tires the most difficult thing to simulate out of everything that we do, because of the way the tire changes properties when it's heating, when it's getting stretched, when it's flexing, all these kind of things.
And as well with the grip and how the way you are driving as well is changing.
Exactly that. So it's the simulator that we have and the tire model we use in the simulator at the moment is extremely complicated, and yet it's still the hardest thing to get right. We still struggle with it to this day.
True, I understand. And again, we are here to back up and to help as much as possible. Now, let's say you are changing a little bit the roles, and you'd like to swap a role with someone at Brillio for a day. Not too much. For a day, you need to continue to be a driver.
Yes.
What job would you pick and why?
It's a good question. I'm not sure. I think the easy answer is a CEO. But I don't want the pressure of that. So I would say I'd like to understand more the software engineering side of the company and understanding the roles that they have to play. Of course, I'm sure everyone is extremely smart, and I would be quite far behind on the knowledge. But it would be really nice to see the teams work together and kind of come up with ideas and solutions to these challenges that they've been asked for. So yeah.
Whenever you have time, you are more than welcome to see how it is. Believe me, it's not so hard as a F1 driver, but definitely.
Maybe.
Good. Now, we are almost at the end of our discussion. Do you think partnerships like this help brings fans or take people closer to the sport?
No, definitely. I think bridging the gap between the fans and how the teams operate is been a constant focus. If you look at how we're using data now, even in terms of what you see on the Formula 1 TV feed, showing relative performance gaps and chances of overtaking around the circuit.
When you are reaching the driver up front. And
exactly that. It's educating the fans. I think it brings everyone closer. And nowadays, even your casual fan, I've realized, even walking around the streets of London, for example, they seem to understand the basics of the sport really well.
And understand the difficulty of the sport.
They do. I think that's also maybe partly down to the TV shows that we've been doing recently. But it's nice. There's a real appreciation for what we do, and I think the world of Formula One, the technology of Formula One, is inspiring younger viewers as well.
Understand. Now, what do you think? What do you think about our partnership, and what would be a message to my colleagues at Brillio who are working behind the scenes?
I think we've obviously had a fairly new partnership, but it's amazing to see already the steps we've taken as a team, sitting on the side of the Williams side. It feels like there's so much we can do and keep going in that direction. I feel like the speed at which technology is happening and the way that Brillio can help give us the performance that we want in the car, there's a huge opportunity in that. And the faster we can work together and improve these areas that we're trying to work on, I see it as a real step to us to be a top team.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate for all the kind words that you said about the team, and they will appreciate as well. And what I can tell you behind the scenes is that every colleague at Brillio that works for Atlassian Williams Racing is a huge fan of F1.
I realized, yeah.
They want to bring more ideas and to see how can push the team and to bring the team in front of the grid.
It's been really exciting to see. It's amazing to see there's passion within Brillio to really help us. And I've been on a few Zoom calls with a few of the Brillio people who've been working on the Williams side of things, and it was really inspiring to see how involved they wanted to be.
A big thank you to you, Alex, for taking us behind the scenes and showing how data, determination and great partnership between Atlassian Williams Racing and Brillio brings real performance on and off track.
Thank you for having me.
Until next time, stay curious, stay fast and keep pushing boundaries. Thank you.